Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for the Australian Grand Prix. We're finally on the stream and we've got the final moments of qualifying remaining. It's Sulkin who leads the way, 15.250, with Pursoon returning once more, followed by the two Williams, Frantic, Eager Pro on a brand new wheel. We've got Jericho Willis, PJ once again as reserve, and so is Yellowek racing with us today. A small grid, but we had that last week and we had a fantastic race. We can do it again. Eager Pro, as I just said, on a brand new wheel. We've got Frantic in the background who is getting ready to go for another lap, so it will be Eagle who will finish qualifying first out of the lot unless they make a mistake and try and restart their lap. But here we go with the new Moser R5, the direct drive wheel that should hopefully take them to the top of the times. Cutting that first corner very nicely, fully committed on the exit. DRS, ERS moving to the middle of the circuit, got some traffic on the left, but it's actually beneficial to move across eventually anyway. You don't want to be stuck in the middle over that bump. Oh, a bit of a snap on the curb on the exit there, easily done. They kept it in a straight line and they're still good to go. It's nice and tidy. It's almost 2/10 improvement. Big off at the fast of 7 and 8. And they just have to back off on that one. It's going to be Frantic who invalidates as well. So many drivers making mistakes. Eagle's going to have to go again if they have the fuel to do so. So we will then see next up PJ set their qualifying lap, but they actually go into the pit lane on their one-lap old tyres. So it won't be PJ. It's going to be, once more, Eager Pro who will go for their qualifying run, which is weird to see, but they save the battery and they get ready to go again, and we'll get to see what they can do through the first sector and into the second sector as well. We'll find out, are they improving and can they make turns 7 and 8 this time around. Into turn 1, cutting that corner nicely once again, a little bit wider this time. Tyres will be slightly less grippy, confidence maybe a little bit shook as they've now got one more attempt only to get this right. It's not the plan originally. A bit smoother on the exit there, on the curb. Is it going to be faster though? With the slightly weaker tyres? No, they've lost about, what, a tenth of a second from their last attempt. They did make it through turn 7 and 8. They go down the back straight with the right-hander and the left, minimising track distance, pull it to the right-hand side, get ready to downshift to get those engine revs up. Actually, they don't downshift, they just keep it flat out. It works out nicely. DRS, ERS once more. What's it going to be over the sector line? Sorry, I missed that one. We're not going over the sector line, we're going into the final complex of corners. And here we go with Eager Pro. What's it going to be? A big snap of oversteer. Oh, and the lap's done. The lap is done. They go straight into the pit lane. It's going to be Frantic who will next finish the session. Eager Pro is done. Frantic hits the wall on the exit and shakes in frustration. They can't believe it. It's Sulkin who looks to defend their current top time, a 15.250. No battery to the end, but it's still going to be a 4/10 improvement. Absolutely massive. Charlie loves this circuit. Can they love the top step as well? They can. A 14.646, and their teammate is going to cross the line shortly, but it's Pursoon who goes to third, and they stay third. It's Zingy who will finish the session. What's it going to be? A 4.5 improvement, almost 5/10, and they beat Pursoon to it in the end. It's going to be Jericho Willis actually to finish off the session, and we'll see what the American can do in the final corners, going right up to the limit. Perfect stuff there on the entry to the chicane. On the exit, getting it nice into the left-hand side. This looks like a tidy lap from them. What's it going to be? And it's going to be almost a 10th improvement, but still a P7. And that is how qualifying shall go. We thought last week Charlie might be able to do well around here, and they've currently set the scores high. Will we see what we're expecting from Charlie today. 2/10 ahead of the field. Charlie in pole position. We've got Sulkin in P2 and Zingy in P3. That's the rest of the grid. That's the race director. And we'll be back in a bit for lights out. Ready, hold, go! Who's going to get it into turn one? Charlie on pole position. The outside line is there. Sulkin, will they get to the inside? No, they slot in behind, and so do the following cars. Oh, that's Zingy off in the background. They lose the car, they lose the momentum. They're in the wall. It's Egapro who loses out. P9 they go, drop down to. It's going to be a virtual safety car deployed immediately. Egapro, a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Zingy. That would suggest that the safety car came out before Igor made contact with the wall, but I just don't believe that, and I'm not entirely sure what was going on. Zingy went off the circuit, lost a bit of momentum. I think Egapro maybe made a mistake and reacted, and then just spun at that point. No full safety car, so Igor is going to lose out quite significantly from this. But if that's a safety car already, then we just don't know how it's going to pan out for the rest of the race. The top three, it looked like, were going to be in pretty routine style until Zingy did miss that first corner. Pursoon made that move. It was almost single file. Just a bit further behind, it wasn't quite so single file. It's actually Frantic with damage, so they were involved maybe in that same collision. It's Jericho Willis who's probably realising that the car directly ahead of them does have that damage. This virtual safety car is going on a very long time, which will help keep Igor in this race. We're waiting for the restart, and we're expecting it soon, but there it is. Frantic and Igor into the pit lane. Igor almost taking off their right-hand side tyre. And the virtual safety car just about eventually ends. It's going to be racing into turn one as Sulkin tries to react. DRS will not be available until the following lap, but that was a very good reaction from Sulkin to keep Charlie on their toes. Jericho Willis is unleashed, Yellowek as well, and then we have Egapro and Frantic pitting, of course, and getting those new wings, and they will be changing tyres as well, just to add to the complication. It's PJ who must have been the only driver to start on the hard tyre, as Frantic and Egapro are now on that hard tyre, so I assume they started on the medium originally. It's lap 2 out of 29. Sulkin is already going for the move around the outside. He thinks it's F126. and it looks like it may already be in 2026, but Charlie's going to have a go and try and come back at them immediately. They move to the left-hand side. Defensive throws from the Red Bull, but a switchback is wide open, and it's taken. Absolutely traditional textbook stuff from Charlie. They've got the lead back and take control of this race. Pursoon, Zingy, Jericho Willis brought closer than ever because of that battle. And DRS is now available. And we'll see this get very heated, I'm sure. Cars this close together is only going to make it more exciting. But in a train, it's going to be tricky as well. That's Zingy looking to the outside of Pursoon. Pursoon goes slightly defensive, but not enough to allow Zingy to really go for an actual move. They just have to sit behind. You can see Zingy following their teammate, the championship leader, and the last time around sprint race winner from Silverstone, Pursoon in the Haas, who looks like they might be trying to eye up a move here. Sulkin wasn't exactly charging towards Charlie there on the mini straight, but now to the final straight before the start finish. Sulkin will be able to catch back up, and that's effectively allowing them to defend from Pursoon by just regaining that gap to the car ahead. It means that you don't have to worry about the car behind. Whereas if you were already close to the car ahead and you didn't want to overtake them, then you have to worry about the car behind overtaking you. That's how the games work. PJ and Yellowek dropping back a little bit, notably with the F1.5 driver and the hard tyre, so it's going to happen around a circuit like this with a slipstream train as well. It's going to be brutal. You've got 3 DRS zones. Actually, yeah, no, 4 DRS zones. So the most of any circuit in the calendar, and the DRS train is going to be absolutely killer stuff. Sulkin is going to be loving that right now, as Charlie will be hating it. They just know they won't be able to break away from the cars behind unless they fight each other or make a significant mistake. And really that all starts with Sulkin. If Pursoon is to want to go for a move, then they're going to have to hope that there's some sort of collaboration to get that done, so they can work together on attacking Charlie. But Charlie can't think about whatever they're going to do between one another. They've just got to stay in front. That's the best way that they're going to drive this race, and that's the best way they're going to keep their front wing. Although it will be Pursoon and Sulkin and Zingy Jericho Willis will have better tyre wear by being in the train of cars. Yes, that's not realistic, but in the F1 game series for a while it is the way it works. The top 5 train continues. We start with Charlie in the Williams. We end with Jericho Willis in the McLaren, and they almost lost the car there. On the curb, the grip seems low, touching the grass. It's not exactly going to make it easy for them. They are still in the train, and they'll be able to be brought back nice and close within the battle. Oh, and another move attempt it's going to be. Oh, absolutely phenomenal stuff. Sulkin's gone for it again. Charlie doesn't have the DRS. Pursoon does. Pursoon looks to the inside, but it's not enough. That was exactly how you need to get it done. They went for the move at the last second, got to the inside, side by side through the fast of 9 and 10. It worked very, very well, and we've also got Pursoon making a mistake as Zingy goes through. DRS will be available to both cars here. I don't think Pursoon's particularly pleased with what's just happened. I guess just the loss of traction has lost them that position, and they're losing a little bit of traction on the rear end as well throughout the next few corners, so struggling with tyre wear is possible. Will we see a 2-stop? Will we see a 1-stop? That's the question. I'm not entirely sure what the strategy will be here today in this race. We do know that it will be dry though. As long as it's dry, DRS is enabled and the overtakes can be made. And we should be good. Unfortunately, Eagles had more issues with the situation that they're in, because they've now dropped another 15 seconds back from Frantic. Frantic's still in this race though. So did Eagle effectively, just in a little bit of a trickier position. You just see what the state of Eagle's car is at this stage. And it's all working absolutely fine, just maybe trying to calibrate themselves with this new wheel in race trim scenarios. Yellow Egg and P7 doing their best to get some good laps in and get some valuable information for tomorrow's race, and PJ in the Ferrari just biding their time with this alternative strategy. Will it work out for them later on in this race? Charlie still hasn't been able to regain that position on Sulkin. Maybe not had the desire to either, but they do have to be aware that their teammate is directly behind them. And I assume more than ready to make that move and make progress in this race. I say that though. 8/10 is the gap that splits them as Charlie goes for the push. They go for the move, they go for the outside, and they go for exactly the same kind of overtake that Sulkin did on Charlie. But I don't think Charlie kept it within track limits on the exit, so I think that might have been a warning. Sulkin's gone for that move, I think, twice now. And instead, one attempt for Charlie. They've got it done very well. But they might have just left that track limit. The yellow line is what we use here in Australia. I have a feeling that that could have been a strike. Staying with Jericho Willis at the moment. Once again, they struggle with that fast, complex turn 7 and 8. Really is tough, especially in qualifying. But in the race, that dirty air does become a bit of a pain as well through those corners. 8/10. Jericho's finding a bit of a limit here. He might need some sort of saviour. Not too much battery, but they've actually put in the following corners quite nicely. And as the slow corners come about in the final part of the lap, the cars bunch up even more so, and they can just brake that a little bit later and catch back up that 10th or so that they were missing just a bit earlier on. Using the battery to maintain the pace. Ooh, Bassoon gets a time penalty on the exit. Turn 1 into turn 2. And that is our second time penalty of the evening. Third if you consider Eagle's unfair 10-second time penalty that they received. Was that contact with the wall on the exit there from the Williams or the Red Bull? I don't think so. I think we got away with that one. I thought I heard a little bit of a click, but never mind. Must have just been the wind. Lap 9 out of 29, and the pit stops will be upon us if we're going for a 2-stop. The 1 stop, well, we'll see that extend a few more laps. But these tyres should be pretty tricky at this stage. So mistakes could come about, or those who have managed well could come through. I think Sulkin may have lost the car at the final corner, but I'm not entirely sure if I was seeing things right. I will say though, Zingy is looking very feisty and putting that pressure on their teammate. Not on their teammate, well, indirectly on their teammate, but more on Sulkin. That forces Sulkin to go on the attack to Charlie, who is Zingy's teammate. DRS will be available, and we've got 3 cars incredibly close together. How's this one going to go as we go down the back straight? ERS and DRS is being used by Zingy. It's forcing Sulkin to go on the push, and they're going to have to go side by side. They don't have a choice. It's going to be super tight, but they get the job done. Will Charlie come back? No DRS available for them. It's pure ERS. They want to stay ahead of their teammate, and they do so. Sulkin forced into the move, but it worked out well. Oh, there's the tyres. There's the lack of grip. And that's what we've seen in the past around this circuit, and we're seeing it again. Oh, the Scotsman was directly behind their teammate. I think if that wasn't a Williams car in front of them, they would have gone for that move. They would have dove in. But they just backed out. They hesitated. And they sit behind. They try and use the body language of the car to indicate their intentions, as Charlie's tyres are looking pretty dire at the moment. If they're having those kind of struggles, you could see just from that front end being lost there, the grip is lacking. Zingy seems to have the battery and therefore the confidence, although Sulkin also has the battery. They did lose out with some grip a few moments ago. Charlie once again finds themselves in an attacking scenario, but defending more than ever because their teammates directly behind. They have no ability to fight though, does Zingy. They've just got to wait for a mistake or a pit stop. And at the moment, they don't see any of them coming. And of course, because their teammate directly ahead of them is the rival, they've got to share a pit box with their rival. There it is. There's the rear loss from the Scotsman. Everybody is struggling with tyres at this stage of the race. The only one who's not is Yellowek. There's the 2 pit stops. As Zingy stays out, they have to stay out. So does Pursuit and Jericho Willis. It's going to be Charlie and Sulkin, both in the pit lane. Sulkin, your race leader, drops behind PJ. They'll stay ahead of Frantic. Where will they come out relative to Charlie? Is it going to be within DRS range by the end of the lap? Who's going to deal with the cold tyres the best? Well, I think we've got our answer on who was able to manage the safe pit lane exit the best, and that was Sulkin. They seemed to nail that there. They've gained effectively half a second on their rival. Maybe that was also a bit of an addition from the pit stop itself, maybe entering the pit lane as well. Although I would assume this person in second on entry to the pit lane would be able to gain a bit of time. Not using the battery massively here, Charlie, but very much finding themselves within an attacking situation. They just need that little bit more and they'll get there, and I think they will. That's all 3 into the pit lane from the start. It's PJ who stays out once more, and they will inherit the race lead. There is Zingy, Pursuit, Jericho Willis now leaving, and they will get undercut, no doubt about it. It's by a little way as well. You can just see to jump in front. They're now 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Zingy had no choice other than to go 2 seconds down. Pursuit and Jericho Willis didn't choose to pit. Zingy's had a pretty good pit exit as well, and so is Pursuit. To be fair, they've had a very good outlap, I should say, and they've been able to catch up nicely to Zingy, although I think DRS kicked in here for Jericho and allowed them to come along with Pursuit. Now, Pursuit just missed out on DRS range this time. I think they might have also run out of battery, so Zingy could be in a dangerous position. Charlie has caught up back to Sulkin. They've got the job done. They just needed that little bit more to get that DRS, and then that reeled them back in. They are now the two net race leaders, P1 and 2, and then the DRS doesn't go back until Pursuit because there's a 2.1 second gap that Zingy has to their teammate. Will Zingy have the pace? Will Zingy have the tyres? 1 lap difference doesn't seem that significant, although we do know that tyre wear can be pretty brutal around this circuit. There it is, Pursuit within DRS range, and actually pulling both themselves and Jericho along is Zingy as they're catching up to the top two. I do wonder what is going on here, because Sulkin has caught up. They're not using their battery. They're leading, they're controlling the pace, they're not using their battery. Charlie was behind, they've now gained all that time, and now Zingy's gaining that time. And Pursuit and Jericho are able to follow along accordingly. Sulkin, yes, is controlling this pace, but by not using their battery, they're destroying the gap that they have to the rest of the field. They're now almost making this race less chance of a 2-horse race and into a stampede of who could take it to the end. And with a circuit that has 4 DRS zones, you really want the least amount of drivers in the battle when you get to that flag. So I think that Sulkin needs to try and use some battery here and prevent the rest of the field from catching up. Tyres can be dealt with a few laps later, as long as you try and put those early laps in to pound the cars behind from their performance. But Zingy is still doing a good job of catching up. DRS is now available to Sulkin as PJ will pit. They see that the cars are coming up behind to overtake from that strategy. They'll give Sulkin that DRS and not be in the way or their own way. And that's what you can do if you just avoid kind of thing. Although DRS is available, I think he's now even closer and just missing out on DRS range. They're very quick at this stage in time, and Jericho Willis unfortunately has just lost that DRS range, so that's 1.6 seconds away from Pursuit, and that's 5 tenths, a bit too far, and they are going to struggle. Pitting earlier on unfortunately hasn't benefited them, and the DRS train has really made their life difficult. Frantic, 13.4 seconds behind, still ahead of PJ. That's going to be a good battle here. We'll get to see that in a few laps time. Yellowick also just a little bit further behind them as well. We'll be ready to jump on with the front runners. Currently we've got PJ on some fresh medium tyres. They started on the hard and they're going to the end. DRS, ERS, the move's done already before the straight's gone. And there's PJ into P6, and we'll see what they can do with this compound. Can they enjoy the race from here? Jericho Willis will be frustrated. 2 seconds, but still they're not out of it just yet. And Pursuit has that 3-second time penalty. So they can still try and do something in this race. The top 4 now are the DRS train. We see the 2 same Williams drivers. And we see Sulkin and Pursuit. DRS is available, but no overtake attempt being made here by Charlie, thinking of this race as more of a chess game, as I think they may have decided to give up on the outright pace strategy that I was thinking they would have been taking into this race early on, as they were controlling for a few laps at least. Well, now Sulkin has proved that they can overtake wherever they want on the circuit. They will be a threat at all times and just prevent Charlie from breaking away. So it means that they've had to switch their strategy, think a bit more outside of the box. What can Zingy do in this situation? Third in the train. Well, we'll see Charlie catch up and go for the overtake around the outside once more. Is it going to work out? It's side by side. Sulkin pushes the limit. Going off the circuit is Charlie. Zingy's going to get the run and come right through on their teammate. Pursoon might even try and fancy their chances, but they just don't. They just miss out. And that is very, very tight. Sulkin wasn't exactly ahead, but they went deep into the corner, then they were able to get ahead. I think Charlie wanted to go for the move. They backed out, then they tried to go for it again. A little bit chaotic. Have to see that on the replay, but I just think because there's that hesitation from Charlie, they backed out partially, and that meant that they were fully good to go, Sulkin, at taking that corner, and they did so. And now we get Zingy on the attack in P2. They've finally seen the mistake from a car ahead. That's now their opportunity to try and look at the race lead. They look racy already, looking to the right hand side to spot their braking point. That's when you know that somebody is confident, because they're close enough behind another car to need to spot their braking point. DRS, ERS, it's being blasted. Here's the move to the right hand side. No ERS available for Sulkin this time. It's a second lap consecutively of battling, and it's going to be Zingy making that move, as ERS is now going to be tried to be used by Sulkin, but they won't be able to make that move. They just have to stay behind. Zingy into P1. And that's very well spotted from the Scotsman. They know that Sulkin has just tried to make that move, and well, they did make that move, or at least defend the move from Charlie on the previous lap, therefore using their battery, giving the Scotsman a free attack with not much resistance, and that was almost into the back of the Williams car, it looked like, from this point of view at least. Moving to the left hand side as Zingy looks to save their battery. It's going to be side by side through the following corners, but then they do back off eventually. Oh, and Zingy losing the traction, playing the games, losing focus on the bigger picture here. And this is where you get penalties. This is where Jericho Willis has an opportunity to catch back up. The games are being played on lap 20 out of 29. We've still got a long way to go in this race. And here we go. Pursuit's involved. Where will they look for that move? Sulkin is trying to save the battery so that they can attack Zingy. Zingy's trying to save the battery to control the race. And now Charlie is looking for the move regardless. They give their teammate the slipstream. They then block Sulkin. Sulkin's made a mistake. There's contact between the two, between the three. And Pursoon just watches on. They now make the move. And Charlie can't do anything about that one. I don't believe what I've just seen. Sending it way too hard. Tyre locking. And there, Pursoon misses out once more. And Charlie will swoop round the outside. They just have to tuck in. But look who's back. It's Jericho Willis in the madness up in front. The orange mist has returned. It's Charlie with a 3-second time penalty. Distracted in all the chaos. Oh, and that's Sulkin once again going for a very late and aggressive dive. It invites Bassoon for a quick look. Bassoon is doing everything they can to just drive their own race. They know that they've got a time penalty, but they've just seen the car behind them now get a time penalty, and they're very much in the chance for getting some good results. A circuit of Albert Park style does invite time penalties. The track limits are very difficult to deal with. We've just seen, though, very, very crazy. Just missing a few braking points here and there. And getting quite desperate already on lap 21. We're seeing a few drivers try and find their bearings and maintain their position for as long as they can to the end of the race. Once again, Sulkin controls the pace. Singy hasn't been able to regain that position back since that moment a few laps ago. That's unfortunately PJ making a mistake. No damage. They'll continue in this race. Yellow egg in P7 and Frantic pits once more onto another set of tyres. Not the day that they were looking for today after having some very good results recently. Just a very unfortunate turn 1 that has seen Eagle and Frantic stay in P8 and P9 since the opening lap. These guys have been out front for the entirety. Dorico Willis reunited with the battle, now making Charlie and Pursuit's time penalty even more effective. There's the move to the outside line. DRS, it's going to be side by side once again, but Sulkin can't afford to do that. They're going to have to back out of it. They're going to make contact. That is incredibly lucky. Zingy is frustrated, and I can see why. Oh, Jericho Willis almost looking for that move, but they do just back out. And I'm going to explain what I mean here. Zingy had the move. He was ahead. It was a very, very fast corner. It's not really something that you try to do by staying ahead or staying alongside. Sulkin gave it a shot, but by giving it a shot, they also risked a lot by making contact with the rear end of Zingy, and that could have caused demon dragging, which would have put them both in the wall and out of the race. Pursoon, Charlie and Jericho Willis would have been unleashed, and Jericho Willis would have gone to win instead. And at a part of the circuit like that, to make a demon dragging moment of contact, you just DNF from that point. So hopefully we don't see that kind of thing again, because that got very close to the wall and very close to tears. I think he still holds on ahead. Sulkin not in a position to attack, but Pursoon is just not willing to. Or at least Sulkin may have defended slightly. Jericho Willis currently on cue to get a podium position here as long as they keep it safe. It's once again a defensive yet offensive throw here from Sulkin. Offense to defend. Standard stuff. And it's only defend for the Scotsman, who retains P1 going on to lap 24. Now, a few laps have passed. A few drivers have been able to calm down. And I think we're ready to go for some more battling again before we get our final showdown in the final laps, deciding track position before saving once more and then going for the overtakes that matter most. We've got about 2 laps to make those moves before we then have to save for a lap or so and then go again. This time Sulkin will stay behind, using battery actually. They will go for the attack, but it's a little bit too late, and Zingy does go defensive. Oh, it was a big commitment to go for that move. At the same time, Zingy could have been a little bit earlier on their movement. These two right now in this part of the race are not the best of friends. Pursoon, you can tell that they know that 100%. I think everybody knows that. And that's why I don't think we're seeing Pursoon go for moves. It may be that they just don't have the ability to fight the DRS train, but I think it's probably more of a calculation thing. Trying to stay out of trouble. That's how they've got themselves into the P3 spot, by the way. There was a hell of a battle going on between these three of the Red Bull and the two Williams. They're able to slip their way through into P3. Jericho Willis was able to slip their way back into DRS range. We could see Frantic and Yellow have their battle. Frantic has made that move and is now in P7. DRS, ERS, Pursoon once again is right there but not able to do anything. And you see Sulkin go for a late look to the left hand side, and I think maybe now they're just trying to fake Zingy into a reaction. They are going to react themselves instead. That was a risky defensive throw there. I think it might have just about been legal, but they did move quite late and then back to the racing line, not really giving Pursoon any opportunity to actually make a move safely. But for now, they continue on. There it is. Jericho Willis now the time penalty. So it's P3, 4 and 5 all equal. It's P1 versus P2 on track. Currently, Pursoon is holding on to their most valuable position. It would be their best interest to get a car in between them and the next car behind to avoid any immediate threat of being overtaken. It would also severely frustrate Sulkin, who's already trying very hard to get ahead of Zingy. ERS being used. This time they go all the way up to the wall. There's contact made. Zingy loses momentum. And I don't know what the hell the plan was there. Pursoon's got momentum. Zingy's still going to defend as they want to stay in front. They will hold the inside line. They've just got to try and relax to get back into this game. Sulkin made that move in dramatic style, going all the way up to the wall, even making contact with the right-hand side. But then it was a bit of a cloudy situation. Don't know what was going on. A slight mist and then wheel banging. DRS available for the Scotsman. So they will be able to stay within this battle. But frustration will kick in, especially now they've got a bit of a gap to make before they get to the final couple of laps. That's going to cost them energy, resources, tyres. DRS will assist them with that freely. But it's going to be a tough one. And with a wheel bang like that, I think he's not going to have too much patience, nor would anybody have too much patience. This could get interesting, and that's a 3-second time penalty from Pursoon. Pursoon will finish this race in P5. As of now, it's going to be Jericho Willis versus Charlie for the final step on the podium. The penultimate lap is upon us, and this is your championship and race leader Sulkin in P1. I think he's back in attacking range once more and sizing up the move for the final lap. I think Sulkin will probably be knowing this, trying to save their battery as much as they can ready for the final lap. But when will they go for the move? They've got 3 DRS straights to go for it and many more corners to do the same thing. A final chicane kind of move would be the most dramatic way to get the job done. But it doesn't seem to be the most popular place to overtake. We're seeing turns 9 and 10 be the most popular, and we'll see it once again already be popular. Side by side, through the fast corners they'll go. Zingy will be ahead, and they're taking trap position here. They're taking trap position. They turn the battery off with the DRS to save. They know that they're going to have the inside line to try and stay ahead, but no, Sulkin will get back through. Absolutely incredible. And then dive once again in front. Sulkin has to sit behind. Unbelievable stuff, but I think you can see what's going on. Zingy pushing everybody around them to the limit. Here comes Charlie on the inside there, trying to go for a move on Pursoon to keep them safe from Jericho Willis, but it's not working. Now, Zingy has fought and fought, and they know exactly what they're doing. They have just destroyed Sulkin's chances of using any kind of resource to overtake them in the final lap. It's a risky game, because now they have track position, which could be brilliant, but it could be a curse. Oh, as Sulkin makes a mistake, hits the wall. I think they'll get away with that one. They shouldn't need to worry too much. It's all about using the ERS in the right spot. And they've got to use it wisely, because they've only got one attack in this lap. Zingy using the battery and will not be contested on the main overtaking opportunity. They'll use the battery once more, what's left of it, in the final part of the circuit, and they will power it to the final sector ahead and comfortably. Pursoon stayed in front. Time penalties, it will not matter. Charlie looks at the P3 as Jericho Willis can't do anything about it. What a race we've had today. I don't know what to say, but it's been incredible. Zingy rounds the final corner and they will win the Australian Grand Prix. Sulkin in P2 and Charlie in P3. Jericho Willis will take that P4, Pursoon down to P5. It's PJ on the alternate strategy who will take that P6 spot for Ferrari. And we will see Frantic finish ahead of Yellowek in the end for P7. It will then be the Sauber driver themselves and Eager Pro, who's getting used to their new wheel, having a few issues here and there. So such a shame. I think we've seen Eagle go pretty well around here in the past, but we'll just have to see how it goes in the next one instead. What a race. I don't know about you, but that one was a hell of a one to watch. Full of energy. Adrenaline to the max. There's the podium. And there's the familiar sight. But here is the results. Zingy takes the win for the Australian Grand Prix. It's Charlie in, not P2, it's Sulkin in P2. Then we've got Charlie, Jericho Willis, Pursoon, PJ, Frantic with the fastest lap, Yellowek and Eager Pro at the back in the end. All scoring points today. And we've got the race results at Sported. We've got the race director just in case. It's a tricky one around here. And we'll see in a bit for the post-race interviews. Hello everyone and welcome to the post-race interviews of the Australian Grand Prix. That was one hell of a race that we just had. Charlie, you're looking like a firm favourite to take that race. You've got a brilliant pole position. Unfortunately, time penalties just said otherwise.
Oh, time penalties. Yeah, time penalties. Uh, I mean, yeah, to be fair, time penalties. I mean, I had like 5 warnings by the end. But, I mean, I'm not gonna like ignore what happened in the race, am I? That was just not fair racing. To be fair, I also squeezed the Red Bull one time. So I just let the first stop slide in the fast chicane. I mean, it happens sometimes, right? But just like the things that happened, like unfolded right in front of my eyes later, bro. Like, nah. No, but it was like really bad. It was just push to pass, like every other overtake on me, on Zingy. Like, I'm honestly speechless. Like, it was really bad. But yeah. So, you know, I could have had a chance maybe at winning, at fighting for the win. You know, my tire wear wasn't really that good, so I'm not sure, but like at least give me a fair chance for P1 to fight for P1, and that wasn't a fair chance. That just wasn't fair. Yeah.
Do you think if you had the fair chance, you would have not exceeded the track limits?
That's hard to say. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen. I mean, you know, at that point, I also kind of just lost my composure. Honestly, like it's hard to keep focus at that point. But you know, as I said, at least give me a fair chance for fighting. You know, if I got the penalties, I got the penalties. I don't know if I just lost on pace or whatever. If I won, I won. I don't know. Like, you never know what could have happened, but. Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable. Thank you very much, Charlie. Really good effort today. Amazing pace and quality as well. And I hope it goes well next time for you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks.
And we move on to Sulkin. Sulkin, that was one hell of a race. Feisty all the way from the beginning to the end. Can you take us through it?
Yeah, the pole the pole lap, I couldn't even compete with that. Charlie was really fast. To be honest, I knew he was fast from before the quali even started because I heard some rumors about 14.5s, but yeah, whatever. I was really happy with my 14.8 because I thought I'm gonna be low 15s, but yeah, I'm happy with the quali. And after that, the race, it was yeah, like you said, quite feisty. I'm not gonna say I was not aggressive because I was really, but I had some mistakes up my way. The one at the start of sector 3, when I pushed Charlie and Singy both while I was boxed in. So yeah, that was my bad. And yeah, I'm happy with the P2. To be honest, I thought this was gonna be like a Singy and Charlie and like the Williams 1-2, but I'm really happy to be P2. To be honest.
Yeah.
Quite surprised I got no time penalties or only one warning, so yeah, pretty happy with the race.
Yep. It's very good points and you still hold on nicely. So well done today. Thank you very much. It was one hell of a race to watch. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. Thank you. And we move on to Zingy. Zingy, congratulations. That was looking like it was going to be a tough race from the opening corners. It didn't end up being that way, but it was a long old race throughout in the middle part as well because of all the battling. First of all, talk about your race, but also add a bit into the strategy there because you were on the kind of back step for a while, going a little bit later on, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the first lap, it was all my mistake. I went to turn one, a bit too hot. I was expecting to follow Charlie through. Instead, I recreated the Alpine incident with Frantic, which is ironic because he's also in an Alpine. But that was all me. And then from then on, you just couldn't overtake. It was a nigh on impossibility unless you were second in the train, which I wasn't for ages. And so when Charlie pit, I knew I had to extend one lap because you can't double stack in this game. It's impossible. and I seen the gap. It was what 2.7 at its peak, 2.8. I think something like that, and I got it down to about 1.8, 1.7, and then Charlie was able to help me get back in the DRS by tactically slowing down. So that was very smart of him. And I do thank him for that. He kind of saved my race. And from there on, there was a few questionable incidents, which will be, I'd imagine, sorted out in the reports. But for the most part, it was good racing. There was a few hiccups, obviously, but not everyone's going to be perfect, so I'm not too fussed about it. And I'm happy with the win. And next track's what, Aaron? You tell me.
You know what? I was just thinking exactly the same thing. I'm way too tired to remember. I do apologise, but
Let me
I
check.
just realised why you're... Well, unless you didn't know, but it's going to be a
Oh!
circuit that you quite like.
Oh no! What a shame! It's Singapore. Oh.
Lovely. That's going to be a brilliant race. Thank you very much, Zingy. Really well done today.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. Great racing. Great entertainment to see on track. It was pretty special.
Yep. Yeah.
And we move on to Yellow Egg. Yellow Egg. That was a tough one. They're pretty quick out there, and they all had the DRS, which you didn't. So it's not really fair, right? They shouldn't have had DRS. It's not fair. Good laps for tomorrow. Are you ready? It's going to be a tough one. Track limits, obviously, are really difficult to manage, but you're surely ready now.
I mean, I don't know what you mean. This race was easy as hell.
Domination.
Exactly after a first lap, you know. I finished third, so pretty good. A pretty good race. On the start was very exciting, I'm gonna say it, because I had bad start and behind me was only nobody was behind me, so last to first. But the guy in front of me, I forgot his name as always. He was on the hard tires
PJ.
and I was on mediums. Yes, exactly, PJ. And he had a bad start, of course, and I had bad as well, but I had better tires, so I managed to be like in front of him. And then I see Jericho in front of me, like standing in one place. I am running 200 miles per hour, and I nearly killed him and also PJ because I wanted to avoid crash. So I turn, and I nearly turned into PJ. So start was very interesting. I saw some flying cars, which was also exciting. Yes, later it was just clear domination from me. Those track limits were unfair. It was like, you know, somebody just gave money to the. Oh my god, I forgot how
It
it's
was
called.
just a game
Anyway,
bug. It was a game bug.
yes, exactly, a game glitch. As we know, EA is not good in repairing their old bugs. Yes, a very interesting race. I won because of my crazy undercut strategy. I lost by undercutting. I didn't undercut anybody. But I still managed to win, so clear domination, get better. No even close.
Championship's yours. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Yellow Egg. Really good effort today, and good luck tomorrow. I'm sure you will do absolutely awesomely. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next
Thank you.
time. And that's been it. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you tomorrow for the F1.5 EU Championship once again in Australia. We'll see you next weekend for the Singapore Grand Prix. That will be just amazing, won't it? Thank you very much, and good night.